International Women's Day. It's always a day set aside all over the world to celebrate women's social, economic, cultural issues. It recognizes the achievements made by women all over the world, also brings awareness to the obstacles that still stand in our way today. This year's theme is Generation Equality, realizing women's rights. To commemorate International Women's Day, we have with us in the studio the MD, Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, and also the UK Deputy High Commissioner in Nigeria, Lagos, Harriet Thompson. Welcome to the show.
Exactly.
How do we, in addressing each for equal, bring a bit of equality in wages and income being earned by men and women?
I think it's to do with mentoring our young girls from beginning to make them realize they carry the same value as the boys. I always reference that when we're paying our school fees for our male and female children, there's no difference in how much you're paying for the male and the girl child. So from that point, you make them understand they're on equal levels and they should demand and occupy their space irrespective of gender. Some of the things that we've seen is the fact that across the board, girls are always falling through the cracks. When you look at dropout rates in secondary school, it's the girls. When you look at in workplace, you see the number of girls that start up, like at entry level, you have a high number of girls, young women. And then once we get to managerial position, you find them falling through the cracks. And these are typically attributable to the challenging years in your life when you're having children, when you're nurturing your marriage. And within those 0 to 5 years, when you're starting up a family, it's usually challenging. And some women and young girls are not able to stay on that track. And I think in a lot of instances, some of us that find ourselves in a position of authority that can mentor, it's that period that we need to get in there and provide them with the support, both official and unofficial.
How do we change women from having that mindset that, I just want to be called a good woman, and this is your career you're talking about. There's nothing wrong going out there to get it. But, you don't want to be called maybe your or called names at it.
It's funny how we attach different adjectives to the same behavior if it's women or men displaying it. So a woman is aggressive and a man is bold, ambitious, for example. So I think there's that bit that starts from early childhood about changing the boys' perceptions as well as the girls. And then women supporting women. And one of the things that really frustrates me is when people say, oh, we don't see enough women supporting women. Whereas all the women that I've met are mentoring, they're coaching, they're bringing people up. The amount of time that all of us put in around International Women's Day to raise awareness of the issues. But on a small scale, for example, when a woman says something sensible in a meeting, let's all lean in behind her and say, very good point.
What programs are you putting together to celebrate World International Women's Day? So
let me talk about some of the work that we're doing. It starts from those basics, so a lot of work to support maternal mortality and improve rates there, support to provide family planning, support to get more girls into school, and then as young women should be beginning their careers, if they've had a gap in their education, there's some support to fill in those gaps. We're working to support local organisations to promote women's participation in politics right from the very lowest levels so that you can build that career up and we'll get more women into leadership positions. And then in women in the economic space, particularly looking at financial inclusion or, for example, women in the tech space and supporting women leaders in that space. So a real variety. And then for International Women's Day particularly, we showcased some young female artists on Friday night, giving them a voice and a platform that they wouldn't otherwise have. We are this evening working with some change makers, so some pioneers in their fields across different fields. And so young women can hear those stories, can have some time of speed mentoring with them.
Yes, about the Chibok girls, I think it's not dying out. I wear my badge all the time, wherever I go. It's been a long time, but we still maintain the advocacy. What's important is while we're hopeful to have all the Chibok girls rescued, we're also, it's always been about everyone that has been captivated by Boko Haram. So beyond the girls, but just to raise awareness of the whole incidents of the insurgency. So we've seen quite a huge number of people being rescued outside of the Chibok girls, and that is always welcome and celebrated. And we continue to advocate and to keep in the consciousness of the world that girls remain in captivity, while the government should continue to search for them, but they should be mindful of every other person that has been held captive, and also to prevent additional kidnap or such incidences. So advocacy remains. We have sit-outs in Falamo, in Lagos, and also in Abuja. So there is continued advocacy.